Good morning, good morning. This is Michael Wynn with this week's Kingdom Talk, and sad to not have my dad with me today. He had some things he had to be a part of and had to take care of. He will be back next week, so tune in and we'll have him back soon. First thing, we had Easter Sunday. Absolutely incredible. People were saved, people running to the altar. It was an incredible, incredible sermon. And I challenge you, go back and watch that. Dad preached on the mountains in your lives. And normally I'm in Sunday school and we miss the preaching part. But we got the kids out. We were able to hear the full complexity of his sermon. It was unreal. And it was something, you could tell it was like a 10-year sermon, something he's been working on a long, long, long time. So please go back this Easter Sunday and watch that. Sunday night, we just had Dad didn't really have much time to preach. It was just like the Spirit of the Lord fell. And before that, during the worship, I was sitting in the back, and I had my little kid over here to my side, and on the other side of me was my brother's kid. And I was looking off across the room, and Brother Jeffrey, his littlest one, he takes off running for the aisle. And I was thinking, I love to look in life and see things that look like cheat codes. You know, this is the easiest way. This makes life, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, this was so easy. Well, Jeff, he's a big old tall guy, and he has this long arm. So he just rears out. He didn't even have to leave the aisle. He just grabs the kid by the shirt and pulls him back in. And I was thinking, my grandfather, he has the longest arms. When you get him a shirt or a suit, you got to have special cuffs because his arms are so long. And that's passed down to me. I got some really, really long arms. And I was thinking how beneficial that was when you're chasing your kid. And we've been praying for a lot of people in our church. Well, a lot of family members of people in our church. And this verse came to mind when I saw Jeffrey do that. And it's Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. Now this goes into verse 2. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. But you have to remember this first part. His hand is not shortened. And that's such an encouraging verse for me, because there's people we're praying for, there's people we're seeking on behalf of, and we're just wondering, God, time just keeps going and going. And I want to see this person's life change. But you have to remember, his arm is not shortened. And sometimes when you look at a situation and you don't see them in church, and you measure God's movement based on just one outcome, and you look at that and you say, God's all powerful, God can do anything, and I see no change. Go to the Sunday night service and listen to Brother Matt Wilson's testimony. Matt Wilson, he got saved, I don't remember, I think it was like 12 years ago. You see in this man's life where he looks back and he says, oh my goodness, all those decades that my wife prayed, all those years that she would kneel down on my side of my bed and pray when I'd go to work. And he said it was like God was never moving. But he said, in hindsight, I see all the little details of how God moved, God protected, and God pushed me into a place, and God got me to a place to where I'm here today. And now he's a minister of the gospel. So when you're praying and you're thinking, God, I don't see nothing, you're not seeing with his eyes. You're not seeing with his look. You got to remember, God's a kingdom God. And God is always working. God's always moving. God's like water. He's always flowing. And he's tearing down strongholds in people's lives. I'd love to tell you, if you go pray right now for your sister who's unsaved, she's going to be saved tomorrow. And I love to hear the stories of that. But sometimes it takes time. But what I want to encourage you is don't give up. Don't give in. The enemy wants to tell you a lie, nothing's happening. The enemy wants to tell you a lie that they'll never change. The enemy wants to tell you a lie that they're on their way to hell and that's where they're going to wind up. And I've come here to tell you truth, that I want to see for your family life and it more abundantly. So keep praying, keep seeking God, and keep bringing your petition before him. Saying, God, I see these people and I see these problems and I see these issues. And God, I know that you are able. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, this was going to be a short one with just me today. Next week, we will have my father with me. Thank you so much. Take a moment to like this, share this, comment. Oh, and keep going to oasisacademy.com. We're about to launch that fasting class. I could not be more excited about that. The fasting class is going to be unbelievable. I think it's going to really open people's eyes to how we can kill our flesh, and really, it gives you the opportunity of exponential growth in your spiritual life. So be looking for that. If you have any questions about fasting, it's going to be there. And if you have anything that we didn't answer, please email me personally. My email is micah@oasisministries.com. And if you have any ideas for other classes, we're working on like 4 or 5 at the moment. But if you have any ideas of something you would love to hear, we'd love to specifically get some stuff out, because we're wanting to get some knowledge out to people. And Dad's been working on these in some ministries, and we have the team on it. So be tuning in. Thank you so much. God bless you.